Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and how are we doing? It is the first full official week of May. We have hit the ground running and we are off to an amazing start. So, I want to hear from you. How are things going? Did you start the week off good? Got them goals and milestones put in place? Did you go ahead and do a really good sync with your team this morning to make sure that you guys were all on the same page, tackling the same objectives, and essentially rowing in the same direction? Most of you have mastered that skill, so it's looking really good. You're making some big strides, and you are just moving the ball forward, and that is what you want. So keep up that amazing work. Last week we finished up our big series. Well, I don't want to say we finished it up, but we had our big series on a just cause, your why statements, your big audacious goals, and of course, your just basic leadership stuff. And we're going to kind of continue that going into this week, and we're just definitely going to kind of get after those little key leadership principles. Today we kind of touched on the topic of it feels lonely at the top, but it doesn't have to be. Yes, it's going to be. You have to make those hard decisions. You have to stay the course. You have to be true to your values, your ethics, your morals. There is a time and a place when it is acceptable to change and make adjustments as needed. But for the most part, you really have to stay that tough course, and you're going to have to motivate and inspire your team to keep rowing, especially when it gets hard. It's going to get hard. It's not going to be easy. If everything is always easy, you're doing something wrong or you are in the wrong field, right? So definitely things to keep in mind, things to consider. There's been a lot of really good activity today on some of these posts, and one thing, one thing it's really got my nerve today is a lot of people are not being consistent with who they are, their ethics, their morals, and their message. And I don't mean, oh, they're making sure they hit their posts at 9 a.m. exactly, and they're always doing. No, 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 no. That's not the consistency I'm talking about. The consistency I'm talking about has to deal with a lot of if you say you are something, then be what you say you are, right? We've all heard that old adage, actions speak louder than words. So, a few little things or people are out there like, well, I'm this professional coach and I do these things for people. But when you see it, it's always executive levels, the same people who are contributing and engaging with them, and they engage, they reciprocate that engagement back. But when people who are not in that quote unquote circle or that level, they may be trying to get there, they may be trying to look for sound wisdom and guidance. And when they contribute to the post or they ask questions or whatever, they're either ignored or they're kind of shunned away from it, like, oh, this isn't your level. And the thing is, if you're that kind of coach and leader that you say, hey, you're trying to help people get to that next level, but when people are engaging and you're shunning them, then you're not, right? If you are that person, but for an executive level, that is perfectly fine. But say that. Make it clear that, hey, you coach and bring these leaders to that next level, but you only work with executive level people. And that is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. Now, no one's going to waste their time. Now, no one's going to be like, oh, I want to engage and help and do these things, only to be ignored and shunned, right? You're that big and that important that people who contribute to your post and value your post, you can't engage with them, right? Same thing goes true with if you're an advocate for something. I just use this one because it's simple, but you see it all the time. People will advocate that veterans shouldn't be paying for certain services like resume writing and things like that, which is true because there's a lot of great organizations and services that provide it for free for veterans, right? Like the VA, for example, your VSOs and whatnot. But if if you are against veterans paying for that service, out of pocket, but then your friend or an acquaintance you have that you're buddy with has an organization that charges, but you remain silent for that, you're going against your values and ethics, right? You if you're gonna contribute for one, you must contribute for all. So if it's acceptable on that case but not another case, which one is it? You can't be contradictory in this regard. So just sort of the things that kind of got me fired up today, but it got me really thinking, right? Um, you remember I did a little post about ethical fading, and this is kind of where it starts, right? If your values are starting to get into questions, your ethics and morals and what you stand for are starting to get into question. Well, is it because you're shifting your priorities, which there's nothing wrong? Sometimes that happens, things shift. Or are you trying to make exceptions to your ethics so you feel good about what you're doing, what you're not doing? That's not for me to call. That's not for me to decide. I'll give you my honest opinion on it if we have a, one-on-one discussion, but I want you to keep that in mind, you as leaders. What are you portraying? What do your actions say versus your words, right? Because there's one thing that's going to really expose you and bring you down in the long run. It's going to be you not living by what you preach. But that'll be a definitely deeper discussion. A lot of you don't have that problem, so just keep up the good fight. Keep doing the good things. And when it's getting hard, that means you're going in the right direction sometimes. But stay, keep your eyes peeled, keep looking up and out, and your team members will help you keep focused on the down and in. And when that happens and you guys are synced with the same goal, the just cause and that mission, that big audacious goal, amazing things are going to happen. We're going to have some really cool stuff coming up. I am going to tell you now. Let me pull up my calendar in 2 weeks. All right, 2 weeks from Friday. So, Friday the 24th, we're going to do our next live Zoom meetup again. The last one was amazing. It was super fun. We had a great discussion. So I'm looking forward to getting you all involved again. And definitely just a good check in, just a good see how everyone's doing, how we can support each other, and just have a great discussion and just really kind of end the week off on a great, powerful note. So look forward to seeing you guys there. I'll put up the stuff on my LinkedIn page so you guys could definitely join and let's get this party started. All right, guys. Keep up the great work and stay good.